My eyes deceive me, but yet it's another week of hard-hitting action in NXT and NXT UK. Hello, everybody. My name is Flobo Boyce, and this is Draped in Gold across the ring, across the pond, your one-stop shop for that black and gold content. But as always, I am not alone. I'm being joined by the co-founder, the man you can hear on the Mac Mania podcast, a Spotify original presented by The Ringer. Give it up for the real Jack Farmer. How's it going, sir?
I am doing really, really well. And fans of the show who have been watching for a while may say, Jack, you look casual. You look dressed down today.
Kinda, yeah.
I got to give a shout out to the crew. Today, I am wearing a United Wrestling Network t-shirt because...
What is it?
The United Wrestling Network shirt, because Championship Wrestling from Atlanta is filming for the first time today, expanding over there, and just really proud of everyone with the United Wrestling Network and what they're working on and what they're doing today. New episodes should be up mid-September, but they're filming today. And I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him. Shout out Dave Marquez and everyone who's working out over there.
So those who don't know, United Wrestling Network has like regional promotions throughout the country. So this is like the newest promotion, it seems like.
Yeah, so they're the flagship, the one I'm on, is Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, but they have Championship Wrestling from Memphis. They have Gulf Coast, the Sunshine State, and now they're going to Atlanta, and that was something that they've been working on for a very long time. It's 5 years in the making, and I'm really proud and happy for them for being able to do that. I'm a little jealous. I don't get to be there. I don't get to be doing on the show, but I guess that's what happens when you're busy with Hollywood.
Whew! They're going to ask for you anyway. You're like, sorry, I'm just too focused in the local market.
Too focused on Hollywood right now.
Anyways,
let's talk about United Kingdom.
Let's talk about United Kingdom. But before we do, got to say thank you so much for tuning in to Draped and Go. I see everyone piling into the chat on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Last week, we had a bit of delay because NXT UK did not air on time with Peacock. It was out of our hands. It was out of our control. But we know you have many podcast options. So thank you for rocking with us today. But Jack Farmer, you're right. Our main event was another Heritage Cup tournament match. Teoman in his evil eye against my pick to win it all, Nathan Frazier. Jack, walk me through this.
This was a really good matchup. It was a really fun matchup between two people who are such different personalities and different styles. And what I loved about it is it had sort of a immovable object, unstoppable force feel to it, but in the sense you have Frazier, who has so much heart and so much ability to fight through the pain, and Teoman, who's more than happy to dish out as much as he needs to get a win. So it was really cool to see which one of them was going to break first, and it was cool. I thought, now my pick to win this match got through because I know what I'm talking about here, Flobo. But the one thing that didn't sit well with me. And that was that Frazier decided that it was okay to just attack Raja on the outside.
Oh, come on, Jack. You can't do this for everything.
Fortunately, though, Teoman was able to not let that stop him, not let it hold him back, and still get a win with a really cool finish at the end of the match.
I can't lie, that was a dope finish. But come on, Jack. Every week you do this, right? I mean, the odds were stacked against him. Roger, another pair of eyes. You can't be focused on someone outside trying to distract you, and you're going to say it's Frazier's fault?
Another pair of eyes, Flobo. There's only one you need to worry about when you're Teoman. What are you talking about? Another pair. He's already got more than he needs.
I can't. What up, Steve? How's it going? Let's go, Mets. It says Flobo Boyce is a virgin. That's not true. Moving on.
That's exactly what a virgin would say.
I mean, hey, you got to troll out me. You got to troll right, players. So here's the deal. Nathan Frazier was my pick to win. Obviously didn't get the win today. Teoman won, but that next bracket, that Wolfgang Gradwell bracket's looking ominous there, Jack. Does he have a chance to break through that round as well?
Does Teoman have a chance to beat either of those two, is what you're asking?
Yes.
This is what makes tournaments fun, man. This is what makes them so hard to predict. And this is what makes NXT UK so great is, as you alluded to on Twitter, by the way, if you're not following Flobo on Twitter, do yourself a favor and do so at Flobo Boyce. But
that's me.
Every single match in NXT UK is just a slugfest. So it's so hard to say that he can definitely get through. I'm certainly going to say he definitely can. He has everything he needs to be anyone in this tournament. But I'm really looking forward to Gradwell versus Wolfgang. They had a great match before, and I think they're going to have another good one.
Yeah, every match was a hard-hitting affair. And the one that prompted that was one we're talking about now, Amel, which I think is one of the hottest summers we've seen in a long time against Amelia McKenzie's Satomura's protege. I mean, the elbows will knock a mere mortal off their feet, but it went back and forth, slapping that meat. Jack Farmer, look, looks like Amelia McKenzie got the win, but can anyone say that there been no one on such a trajectory as Amel?
Amel's definitely the breakout star so far this year for the women's division in NXT UK. And, they did go back and forth a little bit, but for the most part, I would say that McKenzie was only really in full control for about 3 seconds. Fair. And it was 3 seconds at the very end, the most important 3 seconds.
The John Cena playbook.
Yeah, but I would say if these two had a match 10 times in a row, 9 times out of 10, Amel has it. Unfortunately for her, this week, that 1 time out of 10 went to McKenzie, and I think that it went to McKenzie because McKenzie's been soaking up like a sponge everything she can from Meiko Satomura. I think it's Meiko Satomura's teaching that helped her make sure that this was the 1 time out of 10 that she's going to get the win. She's used her teaching to make sure that this is the time she's going to win when she needs to, and I think that there's a very good chance that McKenzie may find herself in a match with Meiko Satomura very soon.
Maybe, but Lamb in the chat says, Amel versus Millie killed it. My God, what aggression there. And he continues, Amel will get her revenge soon for sure. You see her after match comment. She is upset, and upset Amel is not good for anyone. So these are two individuals, two competitors that were kind of on the fringe about 6 months ago. I mean, Amel came back from Millie came back from injury. Amel was kind of in catering, figuratively speaking. But now, through the eyes of Satomura, whether one way or another, these two women are getting focus time, prime time on NXT UK to hit each other incredibly hard. Who has a better upside here? Is we going with the youth, the sponge of Millie, or are we going with the veteran nature of Amel? If you had to pick one to go a little bit further moving on, who would you pick, Jack?
With pro wrestling, you can never really predict beyond the next year because so much can happen over the course of a year. So I'm looking at the next year. And if I'm looking at the next year, I'm looking at Amel because Amel, as we said, has been the hottest rising star in the women's division over at NXT UK over the past year so far. And she has, even though she's taken some losses, she just has the aggression. She has that ability to keep herself in the conversation, keep getting matches, and stay competitive with even the top in the industry. So that said, I think that she has the better chances of having some big things happen for her in the next year. McKenzie, though, she's doing all the right things that if you were to predict beyond, if you were to predict 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, McKenzie's got a lot of long-term upside.
Yeah, and we have to agree. Amel is a star waiting to happen. The thing is about NXT UK, it's like they have the proverbial embarrassment of riches. And I'm not saying they have the best women's division on the planet. I still think it's NXT, even though the margin is getting smaller and smaller as the month goes on. But what I like about NXT UK is that they can really give anyone the time. We see Leah James, twice in the past 4 months, but every time she showed up, she's done the damage. Same with Stevie Turner. We'll get to Blair Davenport in a second. I mean, that roster is stacked.
Yeah, I can't remember if we discussed this via text or on the show before, but right now, NXT UK's roster, they have so many women who could compete tomorrow for the championship, and it would make sense. It would be a great matchup, and it would be very tough to call who's going to win it. I think in that regard, NXT UK is the best division, women's division. I don't know if there's another women's division that has so many women that right now could challenge for the title. And I would say that's going to be a tough matchup. I think that NXT currently, to your point, has a huge roster of very talented women on it. I don't know if they're all positioned in that spot yet, though, that they could challenge for the title. And I would believe they'd have a chance, if that makes sense.
That's like a jalapeno take. It's spicy, but I like it. It totally makes sense. It totally makes sense. But let's talk about the women's division, the other side of things. Our opening contest, Blair Davenport had a quote-unquote match with Nina Samuels because the bell didn't ring. Blair Davenport went absolutely nuts, destroyed Nina Samuels. That's right. Destroy, Jack. Defend your girl. And Sescala got in the eventual neck brace because he got attacked too. What was this commotion or calamity, Jack? Make this make sense.
My favorite part about this was that Blair Davenport, not only does she go through and just wreck everybody, but she makes sure that the production team puts her logo back up on the screen and puts it down on the mat so that we all know who's doing all this damage. Because it was Nina Samuels, but they said, no, let's switch it back to hers because she's the one destroying everyone.
Spotlight.
Sid Scalia just getting wrecked as well. The security guard almost got wrecked by Blair Davenport too. I think that guy's should be feeling pretty fortunate that he didn't get wrecked. But you say defend Nina Samuels. I don't have to, because we analyze professional wrestling. We have analyzed professionalism. That wasn't professional by Blair Davenport. There's nothing professional about what I saw there today. Fair. She came in and she ruined one of the best entrances in NXT UK today, Nina Samuels, then messes up everyone else. There's no professionalism there. That's not my jurisdiction. I don't analyze that kind of stuff.
You cannot. No, I refuse. It's September 2021, and you're saying that Blair Davenport is not professional for attacking Nina Samuels, where 3 months ago, Nina Samuels attacked Xia Brookside backstage, and you're telling me that's okay? Oh, sorry, Mel did. I'm sorry. What does it matter? What I'm saying is you can't attack people and say that's cool one week and then say it's unprofessional another week. Can you? Well, you can. But can you?
To attack Nina Samuels while she's on the turnbuckle, the spotlight shining on her, and all of her fans finally getting a chance to see her where she belongs, up top on the turnbuckle with the spotlight on her, and then Blair Davenport attacks her? No, that's not okay. That's not professionalism. You can't accept that.
You can't be so. But that aside, Blair Davenport's going to have some sort of consequences. And I don't want to say which would you do if you were Siscala. You should probably give her a title match. But she has to pay for what she did. It had to be a bad precedent if you guys go up there and beat up the officials if you don't like what's going on.
Well, if you're Sid Scalia, what do? I mean, Blair Davenport just beat up everybody around. How do you punish Blair Davenport? You get a permission first, because she's not going to let you. She's not going to let you punish her.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything you do to punish her, she's just going to slam you. So what do? Hey, Blair, you're suspended. Slam. No,
okay.
What do you do?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because I won't. No, I want it all.
I'm not telling her she's in trouble. Who's going to tell her? Johnny Saint's going to finally show up and tell her she's in trouble? I doubt it. He saw what happened.
The smack you're talking about, William Regal. I never see Johnny Saint at work ever. That dude is not. Skid, you got this? All right, cool. He doesn't. He's not probably playing golf somewhere. I have no idea what he's doing.
I'm sure he's on his laptop or on his phone answering emails, doing real work.
Yeah, real general manager work.
Yes.
Okay.
Signing contracts, doing all this other stuff. That's why he's so busy. That's why he has to have an assistant.
I feel like general managers, all they do is wait for commercial breaks to sign contracts for matches. It just happens during commercial breaks every time. But let's talk about collateral damage here. Nina Samuels, last couple of times she was on TV, she was in a losing effort. She's definitely one of your favorites, Jack Farmer. What's that say? You can't string a couple wins together.
Well, I think right now, she's so used to the spotlight that it's hard to find yourself. It's hard to find a way to get momentum going because she doesn't want to have matches with unranked competitors. And I think that's what she should probably start doing. Momentum's a real thing, and momentum can help wrestlers. And right now, Nina Samuels needs to get that momentum going. Ever since Xia Brookside forced her to clean toilets and things, Xia Brookside, again, just trying to derail competition in a very unprofessional way on her account.
I had a deal, man. Get over it.
But when Indy Hartwell wants to break the rules of a deal, it's okay. But here there's a deal. And Nina Samuels
the general manager can't enforce that. If Nina Samuels was like, I'm not doing it, Sid Scala can't be like, now, Nina, you promised. That's what I'm saying. But she did it. She had a deal.
So you will agree Nina Samuels, more than anyone else, has integrity and follow through.
I hate you because I just proved you're right without even trying. Okay, go ahead. I quit this show.
So, I think what Nina needs to do is get that momentum back going. I think she needs to start getting in the ring with a few unranked competitors and get some wins under her belt and get that momentum going forward again. That's what she needs.
I respect that, even though I don't think it's kind of weird. I think it's pretty much done because it's the summer of a Mel, baby.
It does seem to be the summer of a Mel.
I mean, got to buy that stock now. Can we use that gimmick now? Is that like part of the other thing we do? Okay, so
it's on everything.
It's on everything. It's like shenanigans and malarkey.
Yeah.
Before we get to our last match of the evening, some things happened in the promo space I want your opinions on. Looks like that Ava Valkyrie, even though she won that match against Jenny last week, they're really underscoring her injury, and Jenny is taking that as a victory. Does something seem a little off to you about that?
What, you said Valkyrie won last week?
I mean, she kind of won.
Look, in pro wrestling, it's always about becoming the champion. That's all that matters in pro wrestling, is becoming the champion. And regardless of whose hand got lifted up last week, I want to ask you, who's closer to a world title shot right now, Valkyrie or Jinny? Because I don't think Valkyrie's very close to it. I think Jinny's closer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. She looks kind of smug, though.
Then who won? I think Jinny won in any measurable sense.
I mean, I guess you're right, but the injury, do you think it's legitimate as far as like, okay, she's out indefinitely, but do you think it's kind of like a bigger plan, you think maybe? Or is this kind of just odd to me that she got injured and now she's like out indefinitely?
It's, they showed that replay of the knee buckling, and anytime I see a replay of an injury, I turn away. I'll just admit it. I can't watch it. I can't watch it. Whenever injuries happen, I turn away. I can't watch it.
You must have loved WCW then.
That was worse. Sid Vicious. Don't do it. Don't do it. So anytime they're like, take a look at this injury, I'm like, ugh, can't do it. I turn away.
Fair enough. What up, Adam? How's it going?
So it's hard to say. Maybe Valkyrie's just trying to take some time off. Maybe they're reassessing what to do with her. Maybe she's looking at going stateside soon. I don't know. That could be something to watch, but I don't think Jinny would bring her up if she didn't plan on crossing paths with her one more time.
Fair enough. Symbiosis, your group, has had a match schedule. At the time of their knowledge, it was supposed to be Saxon Huxley plus 2 partners of his choosing, but turns out Ashton Smith and Oliver Carter are going to be the part of Saxon Huxley, which something I never thought would happen, but now I definitely want to see 6-man tag action. Thoughts about that, what that means for Symbiosis.
Well, let's be clear. Symbiosis is Eddie Dennis's group. Okay, he's the leader. He's the boss.
If he was, his name would be in the marquee, would it? It's not.
He's the boss. He's the leader. I'm just a huge fan of incredible talents, so I'm a huge fan of them. Now you're a big fan of Carter and Smith, who just have to be incredibly daft to thinking that Huxley is even gonna understand that they're a team in the first place.
Wow, you're gonna call me daft? Other British, come off it, Jack. I'm telling you, look, this could be a breakout performance for them. We always said Saxon Huxley is somebody who had that the win-loss record we want, but it was a powerhouse. Smith and Carter has been bubbling at the surface in singles and in tag team competitions. This could be their stepping stone next week, baby.
Look, I don't doubt the talents of anyone involved on the other team, but I don't remember a time when all 3 of Symbiosis were in the ring and they didn't find a way to get the upper hand at the end of the day. So if I look at the stats, if I look at the facts, if I look at the figures, and this is all stuff that guys like Eddie Dennis are doing, the ball is in their court. The odds are in their favor. I would never bet against those 3 together as a unit in the ring.
Lamb says, Eddie Dennis is such a leader. He let the camera crew highlight his buddies. What a man. Was it his buddies? There was so many lighting effects. I couldn't tell. Whatever, Lamb.
Yeah, Lamb makes a very valid, very good point there. I mean, that's true leadership, is to let the people around you be highlighted. Let them get featured. It's not always about yourself, and Eddie Dennis understands that.
No, he doesn't.
I really think, and I really hope that this is just another chance for Eddie Dennis to show Huxley that he needs to be a part of Symbiosis. He needs to take that leadership, and maybe in this situation, he'll see just how bad his current tag team is with Smith and Carter and go, wow, I should be a part of Symbiosis. These guys are working together. These guys make sense. I can work with this. And I think Symbiosis hopefully will just become stronger after next week.
How much is Eddie Dennis paying you, Jack? How much?
Listen, he doesn't have to pay me. I'm just feeling with my heart right now. And I'm just talking with what I understand to be great. And that's what Eddie Dennis is doing.
Speaking of heart, looks like your other boys, Pretty Deadly, got a little bit of splish splash action, which is a song I love playing at weddings. When Gallus gets involved, challenging them to an eventual matchup, Pretty Deadly, their biggest challenge yet. I mean, granted, it did beat Mustache Mountain, but Gallus is a different kind of flavor.
Yeah, I'm a fan, but I have to admit this was really embarrassing. I had like secondhand embarrassment for them. The fact that Gallus has no idea how TikTok works and they walked in right in the middle of the dance. I felt so embarrassed that Gallus didn't understand what was happening with TikTok and they didn't realize they were supposed to wait until the dance is done. Were you kind of embarrassed for those guys for just
not? To be fair, I don't know how TikTok works either. I'm old, bro. I have no idea. I've tried. I have no idea what TikTok is.
I mean, the biggest challenge that Pretty Deadly has had so far is that TikTok challenge of doing a dance. And Gallus, again, just embarrassingly walking into the middle of the TikTok, not understanding the way TikTok works. And maybe a social media manager will explain it to him later, but
these tour guys walk around the street. Hello there. Looks like you're trying to like Clippy from Microsoft. Hello there. You doing a TikTok dance?
Clippy from Microsoft.
I want to help you out. I don't get TikTok at all. It's a weird depraved. I have it at Flobo Boyce on TikTok, but I never update it because I have no idea. But moving on, our last match of the card was Dan Maloney and Andy Weil, as Andy Shep said, almost no body fat between those guys, against Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff. I had forgotten about them. Is that messed up? But they're out here in tag team action with Stars and Mastiff getting the win via cardio and Northern Light suplexes, which instantly makes me pop. Jack, Farmer, Stars, Mastiff, thoughts about this one?
Yeah, first off, Dan and Andy, again, as mentioned, almost no body fat between them. Good on them. They looked ready for this opportunity. People always say luck is the combination of opportunity meeting preparedness, and I think these guys were prepared. They were ready. So I think they made the most of their opportunity here. But Jack Stars and Dave Mastiff really seem to be firing on all cylinders. As I mentioned about Nina Samuels earlier, they're doing the smart thing. They're getting in matches with unranked competitors so they can get that momentum going, start to figure out how they're going to gel as a team, and it's really starting to pay off for them.
I kind of like them together. I thought it was kind of a weird thing at first, but Jack Stars seems stronger. Dave Mastiff seems quicker. I think right now they're kind of rocking and rolling. I know I'm all about vanity, right? But Jack, just put the tights underneath the tights. I don't understand the outside short tights and the long pants. I'll get that figured out. We're good to go, baby. I'm on board.
Not a fan of Quail Man from Doug, are you?
No, Durango Doug was far superior. As a hill I'll die on because I'm old. I remember that TV show as a kid. But so thoughts about them? Is the sky the limit for them? I know as long as Pretty Deadly are champions, they're forever champions. But can they be in that title picture?
I can't give them a certification of title contendership until I see them in a match with other tag teams that are also in tag title contention. I have to see them against the Symbiosis. I need to see them go against an Ashton Smith or Carter and Smith. But until that happens, I can't really certify them. You know what I mean? I need to see them against real tag team competition first. But maybe I think so far they're showing everything they need to do. Right now, it's like they're winning and they're looking great, but it's also kind of preseason. You know what I mean?
It's a hard thing to get that Jack Farmer certification. I mean, only the top teams get that seal of approval. I swear.
Yeah, I need to get a notary. I need to get all sorts of. I don't know what other documentation stuff is there, but I need
to have like JD Power Associates. What does that even mean? I have no idea. But JD Power loves it.
Yeah. The same truck wins JD Power and Associates every year.
I guess so.
Because it's owned by the one company.
Before we roll on to NXT Prime USA, Jack, any final words about UK this week?
Just another great show and another great example of how when you have a roster of all hard hitters, every single
Jack Farmer tag team certification. I love
title
it.
I think that the tag team title certification is a very important thing, and I think more wrestlers need to be reaching out about it. But it's
who the hell are we?
It's a lot of look. It goes in this order: tag team title certification, WWE Hall of Fame,
right? Tag
team title run. That in order of most important to least important.
Lord, and Jack knows it all.
Yes. So, but again, this is just a great example, I think, of a wrestling show, of a wrestling brand when every single wrestler is considered dangerous and every single wrestler is considered someone who can get a win at any time, it's always going to be a great show. I don't think this was their most star power fueled show, and that's no disrespect to anyone on the show, but you had a lot of matches where it was unranked wrestlers versus ranked wrestlers, or you had Mackenzie who's still kind of coming back versus Amel who's off a loss. I think in other brands we would look at that and say, I don't know if this is the best show that they've done in a long time, but this one still came out great because everyone is always competitive, and it made for another great episode this week.
I'm with you, Jack. A lot of times on other brands, other promotions, we worry about momentum or keeping wrestlers on top of mind and getting quote unquote lost in the shuffle. And UK, to their credit, has had like this 3 or 4 week rotation where they can take Supernova sessions off TV for a month and it's fine. Or they can take Jack Stars and Dave Massive and we go, oh yeah, remember those guys. And so I do think it's pretty cool that they're able to juggle that. And it's kind of a model for a lot of the promotions inside and outside the WWE umbrella. Take note.
Yeah, and I guess the last thing I would add is the Heritage Cup tournament right now, has there been a more tightly contested tournament in the last very long time? Like, I cannot pick a winner here with full certainty.
It's kind of like a thing that you wanted going into this. Remember when we started doing these shows, you're like, man, I kind of wish the Cruiserweight title was open weight. And that's what the Heritage Cup is, because it isn't just on power or strength. There's more ingenuity than anything else. But I don't think we've seen a straight set matchup win that I can remember. It's so close.
Yeah, it's always interesting, and the time limits make it so fun. And knowing that there's a sense of urgency every time you're in the ring, the whole time they're in the ring, it's fantastic. I love the Heritage Cup.
So we got to move on to NXT Prime, but the big story here is the one that you might know about. Reboot City, baby. NXT is getting a splash of paint, rainbow color, and all that. Thoughts about that, Jack? What's it mean to you?
It made this episode interesting because that changes are on their way, so you wonder how much to invest in what you're seeing today. But and I know there's a lot of people tweeting right now with doom and gloom about what may or may not be happening.
NXT's over. NXT's over.
R.I.P. NXT. Look, NXT's gone through changes before, and guess what? They've been positive changes sometimes. Like when they've left certain formats and changed to different ones, we go, oh, this was actually better. So we don't know. You can't naysay it before it's happened. You can't say that something was cooked poorly before you've eaten it. You got to wait until you see what they have first. So I'm not losing faith yet. I want to see how it looks first. But knowing the changes are coming, it made this episode feel a little weird. As far as the logo goes, I don't love it or hate it. I'm kind of beige on it, personally.
Beige alert. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. As someone who's a fan of NXT when it started, it being a game show, it being like this weird, like really brightly yellow brand to the nightclub, and Lamb says, don't forget Legend of the Seasons 1 through 5 game show format. I remember that because it replaced WWECW, which is a show I actually liked. The broken toys aspect. NXT is supposed to be the research and development lab of WWE. Don't get me wrong. I love independent wrestling as a format. I'm not trying to poo-poo on that, but I'm sure WWE as a big conglomerate goes, we've done this. What's the next kind of flavor? It's just them protecting the future assets. And I know there's collateral damage. Nobody wants to be released. Nobody wants to be shuffled out of a deck, but it's kind of like the cyclical thing. I think the surprising thing for me was how quickly it happened. It felt like there was a rumor, then snap, we're doing this now, which is very reactionary, but change is good, I think.
There's clearly a shift in how they're going about recruiting talent, at least based on what I'm reading online. Again, I don't work at WWE. I don't know. But based on what I'm reading online, how they're approaching finding talent is changing. And that's where you read that maybe Triple H may not be a part of putting together NXT any longer. Again, I'm just reading this online. I don't know what's going on backstage, but it makes sense to me because he's part of that talent acquisition team. And if you're changing how you're doing it, you probably want to say, look, man, focus all of your attention on that aspect of things. We'll run the show. You need to go acquire talent. That's your place now. And if that's the case, that makes sense to me. And I know it's probably hard for someone like Triple H to leave his baby if the reports are true. Again, asterisk. I'm just talking about what I'm reading online.
Right.
But it makes sense to me in those regards. I hope NXT is still fun and good, but I don't want to. I'm not going to start carving a tombstone for it just yet. Yeah.
Let's talk about things that are pretty much DOA. Our main event today was Rich Holland against Tommaso Ciampa because Timothy Thatcher was out indefinitely. There's that I word again, indefinitely. I don't know. But the match itself was pretty much brutal. I'm liking Ridge, and I'm getting to accept him in his short trunks more and more. But we got Tommaso Ciampa getting the win. But that new team, which I have written down in my notes as Dunn and Company, which I don't really know what the name is, standing tall afterwards. Jack, this team without Pat McAfee is still pretty formidable. Agreed?
Yeah. Do they need a team? They need to get a team name, right?
Yeah, they do. Absolutely.
At this point, you have 4 people. You need to have a team name. Dunn Company seems to work fine for me, but it's too hard at this point to say Pete Dunn, Ridge Holland, Ani Lorcan, and
the other one. Who? Danny Burch, baby.
Danny Burch. So it's we need to get a name for him. The thing that I took away from this main event is probably the same thing everyone took away, which was the fact that Rich Holland was robbed. He was robbed in this, clean as day. He hit the Alabama Slam, and Ciampa was out, but the referee pushed Holland away so he could check on Ciampa. And by the time he allowed Holland to get back on the offensive to pin him, Ciampa had a chance to recover. But if he was able to pin right away, the way I'm sure Rich Holland wanted to, that was Rich Holland's match to win. That was his match. And it's unfair that happened to Rich Holland. He should be saying he took out both Thatcher and Ciampa, but here we are.
Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Tommaso Ciampa. I made that abundantly clear on this show, like overtly clear. But the reason why I started with the main event this time is with the rumors we talked about NXT's reboot. Do you think there's a space for a Ciampa? Well, can no one will survive fit with rainbow promos, or am I just reaching and stretching and doing all the yoga things?
Yeah, it's hard to say, and that's why it made this episode kind of weird to watch, because you don't know how big these changes are going to be when they happen. You don't know. Is one of these guys going to end up on a different roster? Is there a place for no one will survive? I don't know. That's what makes it weird to watch, because you see Ciampa get the win, but you're like, is this going to matter in 3 weeks? Is this going to play a part? Do they need to give a name to the Dunn and Company? Because are they going to be? I don't know. Again, if they go back to a game show format, what is this? Does this matter? That's why it was hard to watch this. That's what made it weird. But just from a match to match, that's why I bring up Holland should have gotten the win here. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I do disagree with you, though. Holland is a thigh guy. He shouldn't have long tights. Come on, you got to flash those babies.
He did grow them out. I will say that, because his NXTUK things are like, what are you doing with the short trunks? But now I'm like, all right, yeah, I got you. Yeah. Give a guy some knee pads, accentuate the thigh, and you could be a thigh guy too, baby.
Yeah, that's it. The knee pads are the biggest key to it, though. Yeah, you definitely.
Why am I giving out thigh tips? Why? The show's off the rails.
Do some leg extensions. You got to do those squats. You got to get those bad boys looking good.
So dumb. Let's talk about my best friend and former client, Mandy Rose, had a match against Sarai, and well, it looked like it was a kick that went awry, not to be punny, but then had a little bit of a cover-up from her new running buddies, Gigi Dolan and JC Jade, with them beating up Sarai after the match. Okay, so Mandy Rose has been hanging around NXT for a while. She recruits these 2 young ladies, and now they're a certified gang, and they're beating up Sarai? We love Sarai. She's dope. Why?
Why are you skewing this? Why are you trying to spin this?
Spin what?
Look.
Should have hit the face. That's what happened.
This was a great thing until Sarai felt like she had to fight dirty and kick Mandy Rose right in the face. We all know you don't do that to Mandy Rose.
It's legal.
We all know you're not supposed to do that. Sarai shouldn't have been doing that. That's unfair. She deserved everything she got. I think she should have been DQ'd when she did that move.
It's a legal move.
Mandy Rose was in the ropes. That's considered out of bounds. It shouldn't have happened.
She was in a hold. If she struck her in the ropes, that's legal.
Now that she was getting checked on by the referee, it shouldn't have happened. If we're going to say that Ridge Holland's not allowed to pin Tommaso Ciampa because the ref is checking on him, then Sarray shouldn't have been allowed to drop kick Mandy Rose in her beautiful face the way she did today.
Okay, and so she deserves to get beat up after the fact backstage? Is that
we don't know that that's what happened. I kind of have a feeling they were checking on her and making sure she was okay.
Oh, she had food poisoning.
Yeah.
They're going to see she was okay.
Did you not see the way they left as soon as the cameras got there? They're like, we need to go find help. She was attacked. She's in trouble.
I cannot with you.
They were making good. They were trying to say, look, no hard feelings. Oh my God, you were hurt. Let's go find help.
So it's just a coincidence. It's just NXT just beat up people out of sight.
Wouldn't be the first time.
You're right. I was throwing my statement. Let's talk about people beating up people some more. Roderick Strong is part of Diamond Mine. I guess a rebooted Diamond Mine with the Creed brothers and Hachiman, which I finally, first time for me, I thought his name. I didn't think he got a WWE name. It's Hachiman, the former Hideki Suzuki, against Ike Manjiro, with Roderick Strong getting the win with eyes on Kushida. Now, Jack Farmer, I'm happy that Kushida is having storylines and he's people want his championship. It's kind of cool we have a storyline that's away from the main event title picture. But again, Diamond Mine, without telling me what it's about and who they stand for, just seems kind of empty. Am I just begging for something that's not going to happen? Or are we going to get some storylines about this sooner or later?
I'm actually with you. I love all the pieces, but without really understanding what they're about and what they're trying to do, I don't know what value adding the team to them, the tag team is to them. Does it? Yeah. Are they just extra coaches? Are they just training partners? Are they also? I'm assuming they're going to go for titles themselves, but I don't know. I don't really get what they're there for. I don't understand what their purpose is, because so far the only one actually wrestling has been Roderick Strong, and and really he goes out and he wins matches hoping to get title shots. That's literally every other wrestler on the roster. So this is one of those times, a lot of times we'll fight about this kind of stuff, but you and I think we're kind of on the same page. I want to understand what makes Diamond Mine different than any other pair of wrestlers.
Next time by Lamb. Lamb is hanging him out. Always follow him on social media as well. Yeah, so I am a little bit confused. I hope something changes up for them. I got promo, a side quest. I mean, I want someone to stop Michael Bivens and have him give a full promo, but I just feel like something's missing, and it's been missing for a long time. So.
Yeah, at this point, we should have a better idea of what they are all about. I think some promos of them doing things, maybe whether, I know they kind of worked out during a promo last week, but maybe showing Roderick Strong is the toughest of the tough at that group or at that dojo or however they're doing it. I agree with you. It seems like their mission statement is win matches and get title opportunities, but that, like I said, that's everyone. That was Jiro's goal, is to win a match and get a title shot. That was everyone's goal. What makes them any different?
What makes them any different? But one of the most unique individuals on the roster, your boy, Johnny Gargano, without Austin Theory and Index, had a match against LA Knight. And I was wondering what LA Knight was going to do after his saga with Ted DiBiase, but it looks like he's going to be pretty much around in that mid-card, upper mid-card spot, just being an antagonist, being the Sam Gradwell of Tuesday nights, if you will. The match to me was pretty solid with LA Knight getting the win. Jack Farmer, let me ask you this. LA Knight, most underrated pickup for the NXT roster this year?
My only argument against that comment is that underrated. I don't know if he was. I think a lot of us knew he was going to be great. At least anyone that knew who he was. I think he's a huge star for NXT. I think he's a huge star for WWE.
Sure.
He's one of the people that I could easily see literally put on any brand and seamlessly transitioning into it. No problem. No changes, no updates. I could see him on SmackDown. I could see him on Raw. I could see him staying on NXT. Yeah. He's got that presence and that personality to just work. Also, he's in incredible shape. He looks like he's actually lost some body fat since the last time I saw him, which I didn't think would be possible. Yeah. He's also one of the most fun to imitate. Let me talk
to
life.
Well, I guess let me clarify. We all know that Sean Ricker, like Drake, is a fantastic talent, but I guess much like AJ Styles when he was signed to WWE, we were kind of wondering how that would look like in this particular system. But he found a way, despite the name. I love it, but people are so defensive about it, to find a way to him to be himself and still work in what we now know it was to be NXT for whatever it is for now, time being.
Yeah. So he got lucky this week. If it weren't for the fact that Dexter Lumis distracted Johnny Gargano and tried to get involved, maybe things would have turned out differently. But again, I think he's someone who WWE, I'm sure they know at this point, they've got a real Swiss Army knife of a wrestler here. You could plug him in to anything and everything. And I think what really proved that was his rivalry with Cameron Grimes, because he showed that, look, he can be a serious wrestler. He can be someone that takes on guys like Samoa Joe, and that's what he's obviously trying to get to right now. But he can also be funny. He can do the backstage stuff. He can do the pre-recorded segments. He can have the matches in the ring. He can do anything. And I think, like I said, whether he gets moved to a different brand, whether he stays on NXT, he has the ability to be put in the ring or put in front of a camera with anybody and improving what that situation looks like.
Talk about people who can do it all. Your boy, the former Brendan Vink, Duke Hudson, was in action against Kyle O'Reilly. Cool Kyle. And we talked about this ad nauseum about how we like Kyle O'Reilly, but this iteration of Kyle leaves something to be desired. We'll talk about that just right now in a second. But I want to talk about Duke Hudson. I mean, he made some buzz happening in this year's breakout tournament. He pretty much had one of the most complete showings this week on NXT. I'm not going to ask you if he can hang. He's 6'5". Of course he can hang. But what does Duke Hudson need to get to that next level, do you think?
Well, I thought that it was very bold of him to take on a red-hot Kyle O'Reilly today. Someone who just got over one of the biggest wins of his career against Adam Cole, baby. And, while, again, Duke Hudson's coming off a big loss. So I thought it was very bold of him to take this shot, but I think it's that same boldness that's going to help him propel to that next level. We talked about what they look for in the quote-unquote big leagues. He's got it. I mean, he's got the look, he's got the size, he sounds great on a microphone, he can wear the hell out of a suit. I think he just needs opportunity. That's the only thing holding him back right now.
Okay, so if you're Kyle O'Reilly, you have this matchup, you beat Duke Hudson, but the strength of competition on paper wasn't that high. What's next for you?
I think Kyle O'Reilly needs to get himself back into a title opportunity, which regardless of whichever one it is. I don't know how much he weighs, but I don't know if he needs to get back in the cruiserweight title picture. I don't know if he needs to get in that NA title picture, which seems to be very crowded right now, or if he needs to find a way to get in there with Samoa Joe. But he needs to be in a title picture right now, because right now he is sort of getting off of a very personal rivalry, a very emotional rivalry. He needs to get back into the business side of it, the championship side of it. And whichever one he decides to go for, he needs to make that decision quick. Because right now, whether or not people like Cool Kyle or anything like that, he's red hot. Like I said, he just got over one of the biggest wins of his career. He needs to strike in that championship way.
Speaking of championships, the NXT Women's Championship was not on the line in this no contest, but Raquel Gonzalez makes an appearance against Jessica May, y'all. Hey, even though Robert Stone, Moran, and Frankie Monet was there, Jessica was great. She was amazing, but she took a drop kick from Raquel Gonzalez. A drop kick. Jack Farmer, what can't Raquel do? Thoughts about the matchup, and what's this mean for Frankie Monet and Robert Stone brand?
This was great for Jessica May. That's what I came away thinking about. Over the past year and a half or so, Jessica May, she's someone who was struggling to get TV time, and then she was getting TV time but struggling to get match time. Now she's getting match time, and she's holding her own against Raquel Gonzalez. She lost, but I mean, she went in there against one of the very toughest competitors in NXT, and she hung in there for a bit. I think what this really means, though, is Frankie Monet right now is scouting. I think Frankie Monet is trying to get as close of a shot of Raquel Gonzalez as she can, because I know Frankie Monet is trying to position herself for that title opportunity, and hopefully Jessica May realizes she's being used as a pawn right now for Frankie Monet to position herself to take the queen.
Ooh, the Frankie Monet using people to get ahead. That never happens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm willing to see that too. That Raquel Gonzalez, Frankie Monet match will slap quite literally when it's all said and done. And plus, the promos in Spanish are worth the price of admission. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking about things that are not quite absolute, Jack, it's Imperium. No talks about whether or not they're stronger than ever with Walters falling or they're adding or not, but they had a match against Drake Maverick and an entertaining as hell Grayson Waller, but the Imperium getting the win. And I know them winning is kind of par for the course, supposedly, but Grayson was hilarious, man. My boy, the new best friend.
Yeah. So first off, Imperium, they got a very much needed win after the losses they've been taking. And speaking of thigh guys, we got another one there. But you know what? You're right. Grayson Waller was the story of this match. Grayson Waller was incredibly entertaining. And I usually don't do this quickly, but we talk about farmers market, Flobo. Invest in Grayson Waller. This guy's going to be a star, and I can tell you why. I can tell the folks in the back at WWE are saying to themselves, you know who sells a lot of ticket? Those Paul boys, Logan Paul and Jake Paul. We need one of those. And that's what I think they got with Grayson Waller. Wow. I think he is going to be a huge star.
Farmers Market, trademarked, appearing exclusively on the Lead the Week and the MacMania podcast. I was so glad.
Draped in Gold. I mean, I don't know how exclusive we call it.
I mean, exclusively at 4 different places. You help me out, Jack. We're trying to. I'm with you. I like the fact that he had a little bit of that personality switch with Drake Maverick now, but that's what it takes. I mean, granted, no one becomes a champion with gimmicks like that or personalities like that, but that makes you instantly memorable, and then people go, oh, yeah, it's that guy. It definitely has some Paul vibes in there, so why not? Right?
And, you know, I get he's kind of silly right now and maybe not a world champion contender right at this moment, but you look back at so many of the great wrestlers and what they were before they became great. You know, you look back at, you know, someone like a John Cena who was a rapper at first and it was kind of silly and he eventually made it work. And now look where he's at. You look at Matt Riddle, who was a goof at first, and then now look at first. I guess the difference is now he's winning. But
fair.
You know, you look at so many wrestlers, they come in as goofs, they get started as goofs, but that's what makes you notice them. You know, Chris Jericho was a goof when he started, you know, with a ponytail at the top of his head. Taz was the Tasmaniac when he first came out. He used to pick with him. You know, people start off you know, LA Knight was what's his character on the Car Shield commercials?
Oh, I forget. Yeah. Oh man, that's awful.
But you look at these guys that they start like this way and then they become endearing, and that's what gets us hooked on them. And I think that that's what's going to happen for someone like Grayson Waller, because you're right, he was incredibly entertaining.
Oh yeah, and that matters here in the business of show and entertainment. Sports
the E still stands for entertainment in WWE.
You're not wrong, but Jack Farmer, I got these burning questions. Help me out, man. I was watching NXT and these things came up, and I need you to help me out. Is that cool? Yeah, let's do it. Duke Hudson's song "Low Key Slaps." Is WWE music back?
It's getting there, and I was talking with some other fellas on Wrestling Inc. about how whenever they change the people who make the music, at first it's never quite what we want. We're always like, I don't know. But eventually they always find their groove. You know, Jim Johnson was great. Then he left and CFO came in and you're kind of like, Jim Johnson's great though. Then CFO $$ became amazing. CFO $$'s gone. I think now they're going to find their groove again, because it does kind of low key slap. It is one of those ones that has to grow on you though.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get that championship match. What do you make of Dragunov's promo this week?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was good to see. I was thinking, I left that feeling, I wish he was able to do that in front of fans in UK, where I think the fans would have received it a bit better. The fans, you know, gave him some love, but I think if it happened in UK, it would have been a huge moment and the crowd would have really eaten it up. And so I kind of wish he had that opportunity in UK to do it, but I thought he did a good job.
Let's call a spade a spade. I think we're a lot less open in the United States to cheer a face Russian person who's like unapologetically Russian. I'm just going to call it a spade as it is. I think in Europe it's a little bit more tolerant when it comes to that kind of thing.
We still remember all those 80s movies, action movies where
80s. I mean, Rusev. That was like 5 years ago.
He was Bulgarian.
He flip-flopped, bro. It's the weirdest thing. Going back to the tapes, like, wait a minute. What's going on? What do you mean Carmelo Hayes, man, had a promo backstage, but Santos Escobar, other plans, Elektra Lopez, something's brewing here. You think he's going to pick the North American title?
It sure looks that way. Now, I have very high expectations for Carmelo Hayes, and I think he just showed again why I was right to do it. I thought he sounded good on the mic. He sounded very confident. He sounded very comfortable on the microphone, which was really good. And I could see him tearing it down with Legado del Fantasma. I could see him going up against Hit Row. I could see him having all these different matches. And to me, that sounds like a win across the board. I think he's going to be huge.
Yeah. Blue chipper, that's it. It was like red hot draft pick. No, blue chipper.
Yeah.
True or false? KLR will be a champion come the end of the year.
Okay, my favorite.
Kaylee,
yes, yeah. By the way, she came out. She said she's got to rebuild this division and make it better. And I thought, who better than Kaylee Ray to do that when she did that with the NXT UK women's division? I think she's going to come in. I think she's going to dominate. I think she's going to be the one that beats Raquel Gonzalez.
Oh, snap. Okay. What are you wearing to the Index wedding in 2 weeks?
I am protesting. I think that it's the wrong. I don't think they should be together. I think they're rushing into this. I think that they need to just pump the brakes a little bit. They're still young. They're still figuring things out. I don't like that they're rushing into this.
I just think you're prejudiced against silent Americans. That's what I think it is. Yeah, next week, May Yang will compete with as a part of Tian Shaw. What do you make of this?
Tian Shaw is very it's kind of in a weird spot right now, isn't it? Like ever since Xia Li went out. So it's I don't know. I have to wait and see because I feel like much like NXT is going to be reimagined, I get the feeling that Tian Shaw is going to be reimagined. And so I'm definitely in a wait and see spot with them.
I have a feeling that this will be part of the season finale. I feel like you're going to have the Tian Shaw match. Then maybe the end of Tian Shaw. Because, again, if Xia Li is not injured, I think she is. But if she's not injured, she hasn't been shown in promos. If she is injured, that's unfortunate. But Boa lost his match last week to an individual I had not seen him do like in 3 years. It was weird. I had to go look him up. Yeah. I forget his name escapes me, but yeah,
it was like Zion something,
right? Yeah, it was such an odd choice to lose to. It made you wonder whether it was falling apart. And now here's a storyline that could have been done a year from now if need be. Is in fact he's in the R word, but kind of rushed that next week that Mei Ying's going to compete. So I'm interested to see how it's going to work. But I got a feeling it won't survive the new NXT.
Yeah, it's again one of the weird ways. Watching this week was very weird because with a big change looming, you're just kind of like, okay, I don't know what to make of any of this.
Yeah, I got two more for you. Zach Gibson and Cameron Grimes, a match I didn't think I wanted to see, but now I have to. What are your thoughts?
That's the power of Cameron Grimes and Zach Gibson and the grizzled young veterans. They can make anything just seem entertaining, and you want to see them go at it. I was thinking someone like Cameron Grimes, you like your Northern Light suplexes. Cameron Grimes needs to make like a Southern Comfort suplex.
What does that even look like?
Northern Light, Southern, I don't know.
What does it even look like?
Trying to play, I don't know. Maybe it's the same thing. But what's great about this too, by the way, for the people with the sharp eyes and that pay attention, is these two have had run-ins in the past when he was still working for LA Knight. So it makes sense too. It's not just a random showing up backstage and confronting Cameron Grimes, but there's actually a reason these two don't like each other. So I thought that was cool to see.
Yeah. Shout out to TK Trinidad, friends of the show.
TK.
And lastly, Casey and Caden will be the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
I don't know about all that.
Hey, what, you disagree?
I never bet against Io Shirai, even when she hates everybody.
Yeah.
I don't bet against Io Shirai. You don't get far when you bet against Io Shirai. So if she's in the match, I'm picking her.
Hey, man, tag teams are a group effort. You can't win all by yourself, or can you?
Well, Io Shirai said herself she doesn't like anybody, so maybe she can.
Sidebar, I think that was the best backstage performance from Zoe Stark I've ever seen. So keep at it, girl. You going on. Hey.
Yeah, she's doing really good, by the way, and just coming along and becoming more a part of the show. I'm really impressed with how she's handled herself since signing with NXT.
Absolutely. Jack Farmer, I got one more big question for you. It's not time for the MVP of NXT. Like, who really stood out for you this week on NXT or NXT UK?
This week, I have to say, I think I got to give it to LA Knight. I think LA Knight probably had one of the best matches of the week. I think that he got a big win. Beating Johnny Gargano isn't nothing. That's a huge win, and it's a huge bounce back from a tough loss on TakeOver. So I got to give it to him. I think that he really positioned himself well to be the next #1 contender for the NXT title.
For me, it has to be a Mel. Here's somebody that was an afterthought a couple of months ago, was in the mix of title picture, but had a match that went harder than had to be honest with you. And I don't want to be in a fight with that because she has momentum. That's my pick.
How can you pick someone that didn't win the match?
Oh, yeah, because it says a lot, even in defeat, that you could somehow change the game. And besides, it was a roll-up. Come on. It's a roll-up. Wasn't you got to destroy?
What about Mackenzie sitting there back there going, what, am I chopped liver?
She was chopped a lot. She somehow won, but she was chopped a lot.
You can't give the MVP to the losing team. Like, could you imagine watching the Super Bowl and like, hey, you guys lost your match. You're the most valuable player.
The regular season MVPs are on teams all the time that don't make it to the playoffs.
Look, we don't count that.
What?
That goes against my argument. You can't use that. That's not fair. That's like kicking Mandy Rose in the face. You're not allowed to do it.
Fine, in the room, right? Yeah, man. This wraps up another edition of Draped and Gold. Can't believe we've been doing this for over a year now. It's kind of nuts, man. We made it. We're doing it, but
that is
yeah. Last week I had plans to do a whole anniversary bit, but Peacock ruined that one. Have you anything you want to mention about the last year working with your bestest friend of all time? No buzzer, Jack. Go ahead.
It's been fun. I've really enjoyed this. My favorite part about it, honestly, is just being turned on to UK and NXT UK and all the amazing stuff they have over there. And I always appreciate that. It's always a highlight of my week to get to chat with you. Thanks to everyone who's been watching us for the past year and listening to us meander and ramble for the past year, especially during those early days when we were figuring things out and when it was still very dark in the pandemic era of wrestling, so to speak. Yeah. So that's cool. I do want to say, I can't remember if you'd mentioned it on air yet, but next week we're going to try a new time, correct?
Yes, that's it. So because of what's happening with the influx nature of NXT UK, just to give us some more time to have a consistent start time, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern from now on for Draped and Gold. That's 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, local time. I know we observe daylight saving time, so a couple weeks will change, but definitely those times from now on next week for Draped and Gold action.
Yeah, which I think will be good too, because with the way it goes up on Peacock, a lot of times we're not on the same time or whatnot. And I think it'll help everyone just be able to start with all the information all at the same time and a little less worry about Peacock going up when it's supposed to.
Yeah. Peacock's a true heel of wrestling. Jack, where can I find you online, baby?
You can follow me at Real Jack Farmer across all social media, where I'm working on all sorts of stuff, whether it be on the Anytime Radio, whether it be Evolution of Movies, whether it be Draped in Gold, Elite of the Week, Mac Mania on Spotify, and The Ringer. Yeah, follow me there at Real Jack Farmer. That's the best place.
He's right, man. Mac Mania, the Spotify original in association with The Ringer, had its debut episode for us this week, the 4th, I think, overall for the show. And a lot of fun. Crossing Fingers is a permanent fixture. So if you like the show, make sure you share that one. But not about that. It's about me, Flobo. Yeah. You can follow me at Flobo Boyce on Twitter, flobito.com, and of course, drapedandgold.com. We'll be back here next week at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific. But until next time, Jack Farmer, say the words.
Do your best and be yourself.